Hey, Paradise People. I always feel so awkward when I start these, but yeah, we're back. We're back with a solo episode, and actually, it's the final episode. It's the final episode of the Money Talk series. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, how am I recording the final episode already? It's been so fun. It's been so fun chatting to everyone that has jumped on. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope at least one person that has watched this has taken something away from it. We've spoken about so many things, spoken about mindset, we've spoken about growth, we've spoken about decision making, we've spoken about so many things. We've spoken about motivation, we've spoken about goals, we've spoken about reality, we've spoken about time, so many things, which is what my intention was. I knew that I had an idea to speak about all of this stuff, but I didn't know how it was going to play out and even how I was meant to have those conversations. But it's worked, and it's great. It's great stuff. I've been enjoying it myself, if I can say so myself. I've been enjoying the podcast, I'm not gonna lie. So here we are, the final episode. In this episode, I want to get into more practical things. This is a practical takeaway episode with tips, techniques, resources, and all these things that you can actually use physically in this physical reality to help get to that position, or things that have helped me. People might be like, Sabrina, what leg do you have to stand on? But I went from someone who idolized money, chased money, everything was about money. The first thing I think about when I wake up was money. How am I going to get money? Money, to someone who is so at peace, very, 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 very much blessed, in abundance with money. I know I rebuke the evil eye. In fact, I wish this for everyone, which is why I want to create this episode and created this series from going into a position of like desperation and lack to actually living a life of abundance in this aspect. I'm very grateful. Still have goals. I still have things that I want to achieve and create freedom for the people around me too. But I do think that in my own mind and in my own reality, in terms of my finances, I have reached that place, and I'm very, very, very blessed to be able to say that. Like, I know that, and I hope I can share some things that have helped me on my journey. So let's get into it. Practicals. What can we actually do? First of all, yeah, I can't lie. If you could refer to the other episodes and just delve into that stuff and delve into your own mind about where your thoughts around money are, because it does begin there. You can implement these practical techniques, but if your mindset is all wrong, like if you place too much value on money, then it's kind of not going to work. So I guess you've got to detach from like having such a hold on money, and like see it as a tool and something that is external to you, and something that is also very fleeting, by the way. Like, money is very fleeting. You can have a lot of it today and not have enough tomorrow, but this is about kind of wanting to be prepared for those times that you don't have enough, because they will come inevitably. Things will happen in life that we're not in control of, and sometimes we have money, sometimes we don't. So I guess letting go of the importance that we place on money is fleeting, and this episode is also about money being a game. It's a game that we play. So let's get into it. The first thing that I've got on my notes is chatting about how the system works. The system is corrupt. At the end of the day, like, the people in control want control. They don't want to let go of that control. They don't want people to, level up. And money essentially will give you power to level up and move upwards in this life. But we need to understand that the people in control of this world are corrupt. They work for dark forces. I don't want to get into like this conspiracy side of things, but they're not genuine nice people that, care about the inhabitants of this world. No, they are not for the people. In fact, they are against the people. So I think it's understanding that first and foremost. The governments are not for us. Maybe some governments are, but the Western governments, they're not for us. The banking systems, they are not for us. You know, all these bodies of power that control the money, they're not working for us at the end of the day. So we just need to be careful and be aware of that. Um, so the first thing I want to talk about is the debt trap. It sounds like the death trap, but it's debt, like you're in debt. So there is such thing called the debt trap. And I feel like the UK, they do it with mortgages, but it's about borrowing more than you can afford. And I just want to like start there and just say as a warning almost, but don't be scared of borrowing money if you can afford it. Everyone wants to move out, everyone wants to rent their own place and get a mortgage and stuff like that. And I understand that. And I don't know what the solution is for it, but I just want to make you aware that there is a trap around debt, essentially, especially mortgages, and you being trapped by that debt of a mortgage. So just be aware of that. You know, when you are deciding to get that mortgage, you want to be able to afford it rather than sell your life for your mortgage. And you know, for me, the way that I want to deal with that is like, there's no way that I'm going to get a mortgage in the UK. I'm not gonna do that unless. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't have plans to live in the UK, I guess. But if I was going to do it, I would make sure that I'm just on a really, really high income. Like I would make sure that I have a certain amount coming in every month before I get a mortgage. And then I guess if I was getting a mortgage with a friend or a partner, or if it was me and another person, then yeah, I would doing the long-term calculations. I'm not doing the monthly calculations for how much my repayment is per month. No. How long is it going to take me to pay that mortgage off in my whole life? And how much is that interest going to increase in 20 years time? Do you know what I mean? Like, do the full calculations of borrowing money before you borrow money. This is the debt trap. I'm talking about mortgages, but it's also cars on finance. It's also furniture on finance, getting that new kitchen on finance. All these things. Okay, you can afford it monthly now, but can you afford it monthly in 5 years time? Like, do those interest rate calculations and make sure that you have enough income coming in to cover those payments and then some. Do you know what I mean? Not just covering the payments, because then you cannot live and afford anything else outside of that, and you just don't want to be in that trap. You become a slave to the system, you become a slave to the money system and the banking system, and you become a slave to the people that you owe money to. And it's kind of a scary position to be in. And I think a lot of the older generation, I guess my parents' generation, have been trapped by that. And I hope that the financial knowledge can increase for our generation and the generations below, to know about the debt trap and understanding long-term repayment, not just short-term repayment. You're going to be paying that for minimum 5 years. I'm talking about debt that costs like minimum 5 years to 30 years with a mortgage. For me, I definitely don't want to live in the UK, and we'll find somewhere more worthwhile, somewhere more worth my money to invest in a mortgage. And then the final thing about the system that I want to mention and make people aware of is quantitative easing. So quantitative easing is essentially the idea of printing money. People think this is a conspiracy. This is real. Like, this is something you study at uni, and it is a big part of the financial system, where when the government runs out of money and needs to borrow money, it's not exactly got the funds to do that. It's not exactly got the funds to borrow the money, if that makes sense. So they print money. It's not exactly printing money now. We're living in a digital age. So what happens is, the government issues bonds, right? So that will be like, okay, please can you give me £10,000? I'll pay you interest for 10 years. On that £10,000, and then once it's 10 years, you will get that £10,000 back. Sometimes the government cannot afford to pay the bond. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like it's borrowed that money, but it can't afford to give it back. or it can't afford to repay where it's borrowed money. So what it does is literally type in on the computer the amount that it owes the bank and transfers it. This is new money, this is created money, and it just goes to the bank. It's not money in circulation in the economy. It's brand new money that they've literally digitally typed and said, here's the £10,000 that I owe you. And this basically increases the money supply in the economy, and it increases the amount of money that the banks have. And it leads to inflation at the end of the day. More money circulating in the economy leads to inflation, which leads to prices increasing. And the prices increasing is not reflected in our income. So our income doesn't go up. There is an inflation increase, but like, if we get an inflation increase in our pay, but because the cost of living or the cost of items has also gone up, in real terms, in reality, our income hasn't really increased, but the price of items have increased. So yeah, I think it's just being aware that the government do this. The government do have control of just creating new money, and they're all like working together. They're all working together. We're not included in this information, and it's just understanding that there's certain powers at play that we need to know, like, they're doing their thing. Do you know what I mean? They're doing their thing. We just occupy. We're here living in the system that they've created. We have to create our own system. We have to create our own system individually within ourselves and in our own houses, and then in our own communities, and then in our own kind of thing, because they're just doing their own thing over there. Like, I literally see what they do as completely separate to me. The way it does affect me, though, is through taxes, and I'm just paying like mad tax for what? I don't know, but I'm sorry, I went on a tangent there, but it is the fact that new money is just created. They just type it on the computer and press send, and that is a real thing. If you want to look into quantitative easing, that's what it's called. And yeah, I should have looked into that way, way, way more before I recorded this episode. Sorry, guys. But it's just understanding that there is a separate, they have their own thing going on. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing their own thing and they're trying to use us as puppets. But like, what I'm trying to do is not be a puppet in their game. So let's chat about the game. The money game is something that everyone's playing. You know, we need money to live. We need money to live in this world. And the person that I learned the most about the person that I learned most about playing this game is someone called Naval Ravikant. I will put his link in the description of his of some of his really good podcast episodes. So the way he talks about playing the game is playing authentically. When you play this money game as your true self, acting on your desires, acting on things that you enjoy doing, there is no competition. There is no you versus anyone else. You can't be in competition when you're just being yourself. And I thought that was really interesting. And then from there, the advice that I took from that was to find out what I love doing and doing more of that. So what do I love doing? Sit down and have a think about, what do I love? What is it that I love? I love being in nature. I love swimming. I love finances. I love these things. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to do more of that. So as I delved into doing more of that, into reading more about finance, into swimming more, into spending more time in nature, just doing more of the things that I loved, I met people and opportunities opened for me. I've spoken about this in an episode before, but I think that's what I took from playing the game authentically. Playing the game authentically means, I guess, to be yourself and to do things that you enjoy, and then making money off those things. And that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. Otherwise, you are selling your soul by doing things that you don't enjoy doing, you know, and trying to make money off things that you don't enjoy. And then you just don't want to play that game. So you kind of want to play the game as yourself, doing things that you enjoy doing. Hope that makes sense. He also talks about things being like a status game. I've already spoken about this in The Illusion of Money, but things being of status and appearing to other people as successful, but success needs to be defined by you. So it's really about letting go of societal views about how much money you should have and how much what kind of jobs you should be doing, and defining what success means to you, and then going for that. So the status game is like about being on top, hierarchy, competition, whereas not playing the status game and playing authentically as yourself is making definitions of success, of happiness, of all these things for yourself, and then your finances will basically flourish. No joke, no lie. They really do. They really do. I want to get a bit more into the game as well. So the game of money, it genuinely is Monopoly. So it's about when we talk about the episode, crap, guys, when we talk about the episode of time versus money, we spoke about in that episode selling your time for money, and a unit of time equals the unit of money. So if you sell 1 hour of your time, you're getting £10. You sell 2 hours, you get £20. And he talks about how to break out of that. And it's like, he mentions the word leverage, which is something that creates value all by itself. First of all, you want to create leverage out of yourself. So it's just about having the skills and techniques, whether that is getting the degree that you need to fulfill the career that you like, doing the courses that you need to do, or investing in yourself, like making sure your mental is in the right place, making sure your physical is in the right place, you know, investing in yourself first of all, and then you have created value out of yourself, so you become leverage. And then it's about having an asset that has leverage. So this asset will make money for you without you really needing to do much. And I know that's like passive income and everyone like is thinking about this, but it is very, very much possible when you start playing the game authentically as yourself and looking at the things that you enjoy doing. So if I give you a couple of examples of things that I'm looking into doing because I enjoy doing them, I really enjoy playing basketball. So my idea for a leverage, which I might do in the future, I don't have the funds to do it right now, which we'll talk about, but an idea for the future is to have a basketball court that I rent out. So I pay for the basketball court every Saturday. I pay that fee, but I now rent it out to other people as my set, like it's my set place every Saturday, but I create a tournament for like 2 months and the tournament goes on and people pay me to use that, and I'm organizing it. I'm getting the people together, I'm getting the teams together, you know, I'm getting the drinks, I'm organizing everything, and that court is owned by me, but I'm getting paid by people to come in and use it. There's a guy who does like free boxing courses, so he does a free 3 months boxing boot camp. At the end of it, the people that were part of the boot camp fight, but they have to sell tickets. They have to sell a certain amount of tickets to be able to fight. So it's free, but their family and friends pay for the tickets to see them fight at the end of the boot camp, and through those ticket sales he makes everything back. It was really interesting and is an amazing way to make leverage, create leverage, create income, and allow people to get healthy and fit through boxing. So I thought that was pretty sick. Another one is like, I love playing pool. I was thinking to buy a pool table and just put it in, like ask around venues if they need it, even if it's for parties, and people can borrow it for their parties, or like have it in a bar or have it in certain places, and it's got the cash slot there, right? So people can just use the cash slot, and then I'm making cash, no taxes involved. I'm allowed to say that online, who cares? No taxes involved, and that cash is mine, and that pool table creates leverage for me. It's the value. I don't need to do much. That pool table just does the job for me. What I need to do is find a location and find locations to put it. So these are different ideas, and if I could keep going, I started the vending machine business. I see a lot of people on TikTok are actually doing that, but yeah, you have this machine, it's your own little shop. It's less passive. You have to fill it in when, you know, the stock is gone, you have to fill it up. But there's not much that needs to be done apart from that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is creating value for me. It is selling items for me. There's not much effort involved on my part. And the thing I get out of that is serving the location. There is no water fountains at that location, and there's no shops nearby. So that is really the only place they can go. And and it's almost a micro economy, between me and that location. It's a micro economy between me and the suppliers that I use. We're just all working together in this business, and it's kind of like how you create that separation from the guys on top and us here actually living in the real world, like making money on a monthly basis kind of thing. And like, how can we create these little micro economies of us working together to build wealth with each other fairly and as our true selves. So yeah, guys, that's another thing. Thinking about how to create leverage, thinking about what you love to do. The possibilities are endless, and you just kind of have to open your mind to ideas and what you enjoy doing. I hope I'm not waffling too much, but let's summarize this up now. The final takeaways and techniques I want to give you. I'm going to give you some book referrals. So the first one is The Richest Man in Babylon. As I said before, burn Babylon every time. Like, Babylon is what I was talking about in the beginning of this episode, and the guys that are running this world with their evil intentions. Okay, it's not just about the profit for them. It's about control, and it's about greed, and it's about power, and it's about war, and it's about borders, and it's about owning things, and it's all messed up. Yeah, so burn Babylon every time. But sometimes you got to learn how they operate, right? If you know how they're operating, I need to learn how they operate clearly, because that explanation about bonds was the worst thing ever. But when you learn how they operate and you learn what they're doing, you kind of know how far away you need to get away from it, and how to make sure that you're not participating in their game, and participating in our own game, where equal rights and justice prevails, right? So this one is about a guy who lived in Babylon, this place called Babylon, and all his age mates are just the same. They're all living hand to mouth. They all don't know, they've not created any wealth out of their lives. And there's this one guy in their class who is the richest man. He's become the richest man ever. And they all ask him, like, please, can you sit down with us and teach us how you did it? And it goes through how he did it, basically. The main thing I took from this is saving and the importance of saving. So, like I said, the only way that I am currently participating in the game they play, the people on top, is through tax. And once you get your income, the first people that you pay is literally them. After that is done, it's literally taking out your paycheck before it even enters your account. But after that it's done, the first person that you then want to pay is yourself. And the minimum that you should be paying yourself is 10% of your income. The way I do that is I use a Monzo account. Monzo has like multiple pots that you can save small bits. But then I have a savings account in there that I save 10% of my income in, and it's locked. I do not allow myself to touch that. If you are saving, guys, I mean saving, don't touch it. If you're saving for like a short-term goal, then put it in your pots. But you're saving that 10% that you're paying yourself first, shouldn't really be touching that. And that should go to the eventual investment that I was talking about, something that creates leverage for yourself. That's what you want to put that savings pot into. So yeah. The next book I want to talk about is The Science of Getting Rich. I really loved this book. It's a very positive book. It's all about how limiting beliefs get you nowhere. It's about you gotta be your biggest hype man kind of thing. Like, if you are doing something, let's say I want to get I want to become a I want to start my own podcast, and I'm there like, oh yeah, but no one's gonna watch it, da da da. What, you have nothing to say, da da da. But this book is about bigging yourself up as well, and it's like, you change your mindset to, no, what do you mean no one's gonna watch it? Who cares if no one watches it? You want to do it, so do it. And like, who knows who you can benefit from it? So switch in mindset, bigging yourself up. No, I definitely am gonna get that job. Like, what do you mean? They will be lucky to have me at that job. I'm hardworking. I love doing this stuff. I'm ready to help. I'm open-minded. It's just about bigging yourself up and believing that you are worth the goals that you're setting for yourself. So it's pretty sick. I'm going to read. The biggest takeaway that I took from this book was there's a section on present action. He talks about present action and like planning your life from week to week. So, what are you trying to get done this week? It's not about what you're going to get done in 6 months or you're going to get done in 5 years. It's more so about what you're going to get done this week to get closer to where you need to be. And I thought that was amazing. I don't know why I loved that so much. And it has like accelerated my progress in my life in things that I've done by implementing present action and acting in the present. Like, what am I doing right now to get closer to where I need to be? There's certain things that I can't do till later down the line, but what can I do right now to get to where I need to be? And it's called present action. You always want to be in the present as much as you can. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't get stuck in the future. Like, that is not real. This is the only time that's real. So present action was a big takeaway for me from this. He has it speaks about so many things. This is really, really good for the conscious mind. I'm not going to lie. Finally, I think this might be the most famous, Think and Grow Rich. Wow, wow, wow. This is one of the first. This is one of the first books I read when I was like obsessed with trying to be rich. Yeah, so this one is about having a definiteness of purpose. This one is about knowing what you want to achieve, which was really hard for me because I didn't know what I wanted to achieve. I kind of have built, my confidence has built up now, and I have a better understanding now. But this one is about having definiteness of purpose. I just want to say, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know where you're going, that's okay. You just need to have definiteness of purpose in certain areas of your life. You need to have definiteness of purpose. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had definiteness of purpose in my health. Like, I know that I wanted to be healthy. I know that I wanted to be fit, so I could concentrate on that. You need to have definiteness of purpose in aspects of your life. That's the biggest thing I took away from this. I consciously would sit there after reading this. What is my definiteness of purpose? Which it didn't get revealed to me till like 2 years later, but still, it talks a lot about habits. So if I read you something, okay, so things that are holding you back: lack of a well-defined purpose in life. There's no hope of success for the person who does not have a certain purpose or definite goal at which to aim. It might not be some big aim, but you need to have some goals and aims that you're working towards. You do. I'm sorry to say to anyone that doesn't believe in that, I don't agree with your philosophy of life then, because you need to have a goal. You need to have an aim that you're working towards, whether it is to get more fit. Like that is a lifelong purpose for me now, to be healthy and be fit. Your goal can be to move out of your house within the next 3 years. Your goals could be to book a flight to Japan by the end of the year. Like, you just need to have goals and aims that you're working towards, and taking present action towards those things, because you don't want to be stagnant in life. Lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. A lot of people are happy just doing the mediocre and being the same level as everyone around them. But this book is about like being extraordinary. I'm not gonna lie. It really makes you check yourself. This book was serious. It hit me in the face hard. So I definitely recommend this. I definitely recommend this. And just going back to the definiteness of purpose thing, your purpose might not be to be America's next president, you know what I mean? But it can be like, I want to get my garden sorted. I want to get my garden cleared and redone by this time. It's a goal. It's something that you're working towards. And then it's like taking the present action towards that. Yeah. So I think final takeaways and tips. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. What are your thoughts around money? How do you feel around money? Yeah, what are your limiting beliefs around money and about yourself? Be aware of the system. They're not for us at the end of the day. The system is not for us. So like, let's try not to participate in their game as much as possible. Be aware of the debt trap. Just make sure that you can afford the debt that you're taking on in the long term. You might be able to afford it in the short term, but really do those calculations for the long term. Playing the money game, play it authentically, play it doing things that you enjoy and doing things that you love, and just watch the opportunities open up for you. This all starts in your conscious mind and then reflects into your reality. So when you're playing the game, play it authentically and create the definitions for yourself. What is success? What is happiness? What does that look like for you? And then find out a way to create leverage of all those things combined. Yeah, easy. And then, yeah, my 3 recommendations. The Richest Man in Babylon will give you practical tips. My tip and top takeaway from this is the paying yourself first and 10% of your income. Don't touch your savings either. This one, biggest takeaway from the Science of Getting Rich is present action, doing things in the now, planning week by week. And I saw crazy progress after doing that. And then finally, Think and Grow Rich, probably my favorite. It is a really hardcore reality check. So it's not for the faint-hearted, but I do recommend everyone to pick up this book and read it when they're ready. He says, even in the beginning, you may read this and it make no difference to you, but you need to read it. Like, you'll come back to it. I read this book 4 times and it has really changed a lot of things for me. Yeah, it's quite dramatic, but it's dramatic in the best way. And it's like dramatic as like a punch in the face. And it really makes you check yourself. So it's amazing. And yeah, that is the Money Talk series done, guys. Damn. Thank you so much. Tune in for the next series. It's gonna be something else. So tune in for that. I've already got ideas going, and I'll probably drop that in a few months' time, maybe 2 months. We'll drop the next series. But I hope everyone has enjoyed this. I hope everyone has thought about something from what they've seen, you know. I hope everyone's actually deeped it and not just listened to it and walked away. I hope that it's like penetrated into the subconscious and, you know, go and have these conversations with people around you and chat about this stuff. Like, let's actually talk about how much we are in control of our money and like create our own game, create our own way and own system away from their one, where we share and where we care and where we are authentically playing the game and everyone is building wealth and everything is growing. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Big love every time. Hope the Paradise Perception is helping people enjoy life and enjoy living. Yeah, big love every time. Peace.